Lorig Session, the Ngonsum Yukor Shetarwatang, the Lorig Tunana, Ngonsum Jampa, Geshe, and the Yiju, Nalamanga, Tesum Roches, and the Lorig Dun Marche, and Dina de Ngonsum said, the Ngonsum Yukor the Shetarwa.
Good evening. We've been looking at the presentation on awarenesses and knows, or Lorig, for a little while. And the division, consciousness can be divided, or awareness and knows can be divided in many ways, of which the most well-known is the sevenfold division, which is direct perception, inferential valid cognition, correct assumption, subsequent cognition, non-ascertaining awareness, doubt, and wrong consciousness. And last weekend, we came to the end of the first of those seven, that of direct perception.
Chidang Ngonsum said, Chidang da lo Ngonsum said, Garsotan Tobata, Drashi Maturba, Sigurwa, Chidang Ngonsum said, Tobata, Drashi Maturba, or Yudi, Zin, Gaji Nango, the Tunjida Majava, Sawa, Nawi, and Maturiba de la Lotela, Ngonsum Sigurwa.
In general, the definition of direct perceiver or direct perception is a knower that is non-conceptual and unmistaken. And we looked at the divisions of direct perception, which I think is on page 3, and there we saw that it's divided into 4, namely sense direct perceivers, mental direct perceivers, self-knowing direct perceivers, and yogic direct perceivers. The sense direct perceivers are divided into 5, corresponding to the 5 sense consciousnesses. So there's the eye sense direct perceiver, the ear sense direct perceiver, the nose sense direct perceiver, the taste or tongue sense direct perceiver, and the tactile sense direct perceiver. So those 5.
Tsema said that Geshe Nalamanga said some Chagor, Dangazuki, she said, Gasna, one Bungosumgi, you Tambo topic, one Bungosum did Tsemache, they don't engage in Nibosumba Shibati, Kazina Dizo, and Geshe. And you Nashing Nala Mangeba, and Nala Mangeba said, and then one Bungosum de la Ya, Tsema Geshe Nala Mangeba, Sum Chigorwa.
And those 5 divisions of the sense direct perceivers, they each have 3 subdivisions. So those are valid cognition, subsequent cognition, and non-ascertaining awareness. So all 5 of those are the subdivisions of sense direct perceivers have the same 3 further subdivisions. The valid cognizer refers to the first moment of that particular sense direct perceiver, and the second and each subsequent moment of that particular sense direct perceiver is no longer a valid cognizer, but is now rather a subsequent cognizer. Still a direct perceiver, but a subsequent cognizer. And the third definition is that of non-ascertaining awareness, where the object appears but isn't ascertained by the sense direct perceiver. So those are the 3 subdivisions of the subdivisions of sense direct perceivers. And then I think I should look at on page 4, I think, then we have, yes, other further 2 divisions of sense direct perceivers. And there we see that they have the same 3 subdivisions that the sense direct perceivers, mental and self-knowing direct perceivers also have. They have the valid cognizers, which are mental direct perceivers, valid cognizers, which are self-knowing direct perceivers, subsequent cognizers, which are mental direct perceivers, and subsequent cognizers that are self-knowing direct perceivers. And both subdivisions also have non-ascertaining awarenesses. And then the 4th division of direct perception over the page, that of yogic direct perceivers, differs in that the subdivisions now here are only 2. And those are the first 2, that of the valid cognition and subsequent cognition. There is no non-ascertaining awareness that is a yogic direct perceiver. And after we looked at the 4 subdivisions of direct perception, we looked at that first subdivision of each one in somewhat more detail on page 6, which is direct valid cognizers. And so we've looked then of those 4 divisions of direct perception. Each has further subdivisions, and that first subdivision of direct valid cognizers we've looked at. The remaining subdivisions, those of subsequent cognition and non-ascertaining awareness, that we still will come to in the following pages. Now tonight we start with the second of the 7 sevenfold division of awarenesses and knowers of Lorig, and that is inferential valid cognizers on page 8. Okay, go on. So we're going to, just before we start looking at inferential valid cognizers, if we compare the 2 types of valid cognizer, so direct valid cognizers, which we looked at on page 6, and now what we're coming to, inferential valid cognizers, which of these 2 is the better? So the first of the 2 is better because it is without fault. That is the direct valid cognizer. The inferential valid cognizer, this still has a slight mistake, and that is because it still it makes use of a meaning generality. So therefore, the inferential valid cognizer has a flaw to it, and because the direct valid cognizer is flawless, is faultless, that is seen as the more superior, as the superior of the 2.
아디네 자다 디체 다다 만족의 제바 시에도 제바 세차마 제바 세야디 제바 세 까브레레 제바 레그레 까브레 제수법에 체마스 돈다 지바레 제수법에 체마스나 제바스나 돈다 지바레 밍 다도스 캐발리그레.
Sometimes you'll see the term or hear the term inferential cognizer, and others an inferential valid cognizer. These are synonymous, there's no difference, just a different way of writing it. So an inferential cognizer and an inferential valid cognizer are synonymous.
제바 세야디 간지 실레구레 람나 that did my senior Shigora, Tineza, Rangi Tin, Dayandala, Tine, Mosu Kibe, Sardum Milube, Shinrik Sedo, and Della, Denechila Java like Rielade.
What is meant by an inferential valid cognizer? Well, what is meant by it is presented in the definition. A new, incontrovertible, determinative knower that is directly produced in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis.
Java said the Kialia, Gumse Yangta Gelatini Kiwore, Gumse Yanda Bajilatini Gilmado, Gumse Yanda Bajimena, Java said the key to go mare. Rangi Tin Tayada Sidu, Korong Kiegi Tin say you, Mazuki, Jevud Gula Timbala, Java Kiegi Tin said Chikura Tinchi, Tin Garatios, Gumse Yanda, Delatine, Kigris, Delatini Kiwres, Rangi Tin. Dayanda la tine la de Koron Jeba Korongi Kiegi, Nimaki Niel, Jeba Kiegi Gulma Sona, Dayanda Gugures, Gumse Yanda was Gugures. Just Gumse Yanda was Della Tine, and O Diresha somehow with Jeba Kigures. Just Jeba said Gumse Yanda was Tine, Kigurwa, Chisarangi Tin, Dayanda la Tine, Gemba Sidu, Rangi Tin Dayanda said Jeba Koran Kiegi, Gumse Yanda was Sigore.
Let's start going through this definition. So to say the order of almost every sentence in Tibetan and English is very different, so we go through it in the same order as in Tibetan. So we start with the very end, which is a correct reason that is its basis. The meaning of this is that for an inferential valid cognizer to arise, it requires a cause. So for something that arises, it will be a result that came about in dependence on a cause. That cause has to be a correct reason. Without a correct reason, one cannot have an inferential valid cognizer. So this term here, correct reason, is of particular importance. That is the cause that leads to the inferential valid cognition. Without it, one cannot have an inferential valid cognition. And then what we have afterwards, that is its basis that indicates that the correct it's from the correct reason that the inferential valid cognition follows. Then we can think of this as, from this as a cause comes the effect, from the cause of being a correct reason comes the effect of an inferential valid cognition.
Chizan dela kewa tsamgiyane jeba chagirevas, dina chagi mare, gyumza yangda batele ngosu kewa shukugurese. Gyune kewa ina jeba chagi marese, ngosu kewa shukugurese.
And then furthermore, so not only does an inferential valid cognizer come about in dependence on a correct reason, that is its basis, if the mind that results from, that arises from a correct reason, isn't necessarily going to be inferential valid cognition. It also has to be directly produced. So we have that before. So inferential valid cognizer comes about in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis, and it needs to be directly produced, not indirectly produced.
And then also care about some young Gumse Yanda Latin, also Kiana, Java Ingurus and Diango, Maracargos and Dilia. Mozu kewa mase digala yuti sardu topach kugures sardu topach kugures sardu miluha la gora sardu topach kugures
sardu dang miluha nikas
that sardu miluha sen chiba chartna yuti tangboro topach kugures.
Furthermore, for a consciousness, a mind to be an inferential valid cognizer, it in addition to being directly produced in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis, it needs to be new, in other words, newly realized, and realized is indicated with incontrovertible. So it needs to be new and incontrovertible, newly realized its object.
And then Gumse Yanda Bachila Tene and you Tambo Tona. Tangpuru tokpa dile jeba tsima ingu kuresne, diyan ingu kumare dile shenrik ingu kures, shenrik sheba chingu kures, shenrik la yudu duanji dan tene, nang yu tuane, duanji dan tene yudu tokpa chigu kures. Dene chila jeba la mardo, dene ki sardu yudu tangpuru tokpa tsamla jeba la ki marese, ane shenrik saya chigu kures.
for a mind to be an inferential valid cognizer, not only does it need to be produced in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis, and that production needs to be direct, not indirect. And not only that, but it must also be new and incontrovertible. And the final characteristic of this mind that is an inferential valid cognizer is it needs to be a determinative knower, meaning that it is mixed with a meaning generality.
Jagres na peruji tambo peruji mo song sheba ina ane dire da bene ma mini tanga de shinna gilia tarin bo jin nga de bele peni meyu medus meyana mena sam mi do pasaje da pagi shinna gile meyana mena sam ko mezego wa zedu de kableya ko beni shinna gile duwa de shuru yo 통고 wa 제가 다 제가 두화디 매유비 김세야다 차도요 될래야디 제가 다고 김세야다지 가선 두화디 가서 매는 거 가를 하고 가선 넘기네 두화디 매다는 매를 때는 두화디 매매나 매기네 땅에 매는 될래 두화요 매바다 하고 그니만 하고 그러서 하고 그러와 되네서 아니디 다 두화지 매 서비스를 될래 매지 여바데 하고 그래 되네서 다 편이야 두그 매디 연하면 매제고도 매디 고고도 산 매지 가와라기나 선 파지 지 사지 도도지가 란지도 스테디가래 편이야 지 신나기 나로야 매디 통고 말이네 두화도 슈 여바 통고로 와 통화도 나디 두화디 편이 매예비 김전래 김전 최고다 다 제자 그 김전 될라 때네 두화디 김전 제때네 다 두화디 멜레드니 기고레스 제가 편이야 두화도에서 편이 나로 신나 나로 매 땡땡 두 생각하고 그러 하고 되나 하고 그 제바디 하고 되니게 두화 김선의 전에 편이 몇 땡땡 두 생각하고 참아들라 타주베 참아들라 제바 참아라고 그래 제가 디 김선 가르친 두화 김선의 전에 신나디 나를 매여봐 또 봐래 제가 띵 다야다 세디 디샤고 김선야다데 편이 신나 나를 매여래 예비 가르친 편이 두화 등두화 그 삼의 김선 디다로 와다 제가 두화 등두 김선 디삼 당제 안데 두화에는 땡땡 매여고 그래서 타주베 참아디 기고래 제가 디 제바 참아래 제가 그 되니게 신나길이야 매도베 제바 참아디기 띵 다야다 세디 김선야다데 가서 두화디 차지하래
These various points or the various characteristics of this definition, or the key aspects of this definition, let's look at a correct reason first of all. So to understand what a correct reason would be, let's take a very clear illustration. So if someone is looking at the bush or looking at the forest and sees smoke, now all they're seeing above arising from the bush is smoke. But this person is someone who knows that if there is smoke, smoke comes about is a result that comes from fire. So therefore, if there is smoke, there is fire. So this is known to this person. Now they observe over the forest that there is smoke. So therefore, they know, in dependence on the reason that there is smoke, there is fire. So again, this person previously understood that if there is smoke, then that smoke results from fire, or is caused by fire. So observing fire in the distance, observing smoke in the distance without seeing fire at all, in dependence on that correct reason, they know that there is fire.
두화 연에 몇텐데 요 그거를 생각 한 먹었나? 그 두화 매 제여도 그 두화 통고를 되는 두화디 매비 김전 양다 차고 막 가서 될 가서 그 녀만은 두화 연에 몇텐데 요 그거를 생각 하고 그거 말아. 제가 두화디 매 땅와 매를 때는 기교 받아 한 먹었나? 나는 두화 통보이네야. 디 김전 매비 김전 양다 차고 막 걸라. 그래서 그 두화에는 매요 거 받이 그 하고 그거 말아. 얘네네. 세상 그 두화 통과하다 내는 매타 하고 매나면 내는 매지 매디 마음이 통하는 마도 하고 매래고 세상 그 가서 두화 유나 매비 김전디 하고 먹으러 가고 뭐 세상 이제 니라 하모고 앉아 두 메제도 갑고 두와 주바 통구에 그 두와디 메비 김자야다 차고 말 거라.
Another person who sees the same smoke arising from the same forest, and also like the first person, doesn't directly see fire, but only directly sees the smoke. The second person differs from the first in that they do not know that from fire comes smoke, or to express it differently, smoke is the result of fire. So they haven't previously ascertained that. So whilst these two people are seeing the same thing, they don't both give rise to the inferential valid cognition because the second person doesn't have this correct reason. And the reason they don't have we can say that they don't have the correct reason because they didn't previously know that smoke comes from fire.
두베 김춘진의 신나길에 매여봐 도비게 제바 참아 디기 다데니게 제바디 당보다 메두어 김춘의 진에 편이 메두선 도비게 참아 당보 도비 참아데다 제바 참아 저거 나데네 기진이버 숨버 시방아바 데마다 고 메절 파주고로 봐 신난 마도도 다주 추지 직스 거에 남가 요번에 되마 타르는 파주도 안 콜이야 대시 메요레스 메도베 제바디기 윤치마 디수 가사 호랑이를 참아도 여러와 제시 차대 윤치마 차대 봐. 제산디 안 데니기 윤치마기 제시데 베니 메요레 또비기 제시 저러와 제바 윤치마 니 대시 두어 김슨 집에 두어 김슨 전에 살도 김우스 끼어야 말이고 그 윤이 끼와 차려 가서 당보 참아디 제바 참아 데니 거 깨진이 윤 튀는 애들와 디 윤치마에서 윤이 깨봐 당보 깨지 당보디 깨 되는 말 윤래 봐서 윤이 깨봐 이제 무슨 깨봐 말해서 제가 디 제바 말해서 그래서 디 제바 깨진이 벌써 시바디 제가선 제바 많이 비김자 가르선 그 두어 김체 야다 무슨 깨봐 말해 그 윤이 깨봐래서 깨지 당보디를 깨와서 윤이 깨봐래서 제바들 무슨 깨와인 거래 깨지 당보니 벌써 바디기 윤이 깨봐래 제가 제바 말해서 안 거저 지시리스 온두스를 걸어. 대신에 균이 무슨 개발해야 돼. 김천대 뒤시고래.
Of those two people, the first person has given rise to an inferential valid cognition because in dependence on a correct reason that is the basis, they have realized that because there is smoke arising from the forest, there is fire. So they've inferentially realized that there is fire. They've given rise to an inferential valid cognition that there is fire. They haven't given rise to a direct perception or direct valid cognizer of fire because they haven't directly perceived it. But they have given rise to an inferential valid cognition. So now to use the same illustration and to explain a second word, directly. And here I'm going to correct my translation. Directly shows, what I said before is directly shows that it cannot be produced indirectly. So rather than translate this other word as indirectly, you can translate it as a continuity. So there can't be a continuity of this realization, it needs to be direct. So now to explain this term direct, when this first person is given rise to the inferential valid cognition of fire, they are now walking towards the smoke to where they've realized the fire will be. So they still know that they are approaching fire, they know there's fire up front because they're walking towards the smoke, but they do no longer have an inferential valid cognition in their continuum because one, it's not new, now there are subsequent moments. Furthermore, it's not directly produced in dependence on a correct reason, but it's now being produced through a continuity. So the production is not direct, but through a continuity. There's this continuity of the consciousness. So this word that I'm now translating as continuity, in other contexts will be continuum. So you get the feeling for it. So it's this continuum of this realization, and not direct. And therefore, it is not inferential valid cognition. So there are two reasons why, as this person is now walking towards the smoke, they no longer have an inferential valid cognition of the fire. One, because they have subsequent cognition, because it's no longer new. And the second reason is it's not directly produced, but is produced by a continuum or a continuity. So this word that is the opposite of direct can be translated as indirect, as via, as continuity, or as sequential. So that's just to give flavors for it, but here it's really more about a continuity or a continuum.
아디나시 당저기 지게 오마로시 트랄라 드로모도 다들 오마데 디마num제 오마기 디마디 규모로 시카고바나 당한저기 디마데 규모 될 때네 다 녀려 규모디 되니기 오마기 디마 규모 차도에 바이나 아니 오마데 트랄라 드로고 하고 살아봐 거기서도 아니 먼저 오마 하고 차와인자 디니 하고 스캔디기 제마 때 오마디 트랄라 두도 민도시데 아니 하마서 하고 민도라기로 와 미치기 아니 그런데 오마 dimakadas 규모 dimaka고도 규모 dimaka고나 오마데 트랄라 줘바레스 규모 dimaka고면 디고레스 제자들도 디모놈도 아니 거기 규니카 어디 규모 규디카고도 제자다 규디카완자 거기 오마데 트랄라 땐 줘바레스 하고 해야지 오마기 디마 될 때네 오마데 트랄라 줘바다 하고 보러 디도베 세마디게 제바세마 제고래.
Another illustration that's easy to understand is if one has some doubt whether the milk in one's fridge has gone off or not, how does one know? One opens the container and smells it. Independent on the smell of the milk, one knows whether the milk has gone sour or gone off or not. If there's a smell of sour milk, then, in dependence on that correct reason, one knows that the milk has gone off. And if the milk smells fine, one knows it has not.
Dimadi koi oma tralado hago topic traladosha samba topic jabadi gu ten tayanda di garesene oma tralado to garesene dimakumo kagdu sim dimadi gimzayada chago delatine tobarejo.
And then in this illustration then, the correct reason that is the basis for the inferential valid cognition that realizes that the milk has gone off is the sour smell. And here the person smelled the milk, and they previously knew that if the milk smells sour, this is not to be drunk, it's gone off. So therefore, it is a correct reason.
나가지고 지단 고규를 읽디 나가지고 고규를 읽어야 돼. 나가지고 무슨도 또 맞춰봐. 내가 고규를 빼 나가지고 나도 수동되기 람 빼는 파괴 가사 많이 나도 수동되기 아니 당보 또 윤전 양다 받지를 때나 하고는 모두 윤전을 맞대 받자 하고 고투면은 니체들 민 고규라고 고규. 나변은 아주 수동되기 당보 또 용도 가서 윤전가 삼동 먹었지 남사 디레시 하고 두번에 딩원교래. 변에 신다 지신이라서 그 신이라도 윤전가 삼동 돈비기 어디 신이래샤. 디자래샤 디메도래샤 남사하고 디좀 원교래 가서 윤전야다 가 삼동고 말해. 디좀 원교래. 그래서 수동되기 수동람나 파베 가사 많이 봐. 당아 주기 그래서 디소시고 안에 만주게 당보 또 인지 민지 당보 또 봐 인지 민지 다 김전 야다 질레 또 거긴 최대라 고규라고 그래. 안에 되니게 김전 야다 당보 또 인지 민지 김전 야다 또 먹어 봤지. 안에 무슨 또 두고에나 원주를다고 그래. 고규다 원주기 개발돼 되래다.
dene yu mungyu yina dene gyutsen gogi mare.
추통되기 담보 또도 김자를 띄우고 말고 또 두고.
dene ngome kenen petsen chik som pimbe kenen duwa yamane petsen som pimbe.
신다 매도다 세상 원주 담보 신통 어디 통하는 김자가 삼당문화 호도 하고도 봐. 그래서 당아주 추통되기 담보로 또도 김자를 때 먹어봐. 김자 양다 봐질 때 먹어봐지 남사하고 투교나 디유되게 최되게 원주라고 그래제. 다 당보하고 또 수동어떻게 또 봐. 김제 양다 봐서 삼당지 김제 양다 봐 삼당지 또 고와 또의 그 유제라 고교라고 그러지. 다들 고교의 원주기 개발되듯이 그래.
The section we've started tonight, Inferential Valor Cognizers, is of great importance. To understand the importance, then let's and the reason that it's so important is we're seeing here already in the definition that one gives rise to an inferential cognizer in dependence on a correct reason. And we've been started to look at what the meaning of a correct reason, what a correct reason is. And this is so important in that for those of us, for ordinary beings such as ourselves who have not given rise to a mental path, it's through developing these very realizations that we will be able to eventually give rise to a mental path. And to understand this further, then let's talk about the objects that consciousnesses realize. Objects can be divided in different ways. So one way to divide them into two is objects that are manifest and objects that are hidden. To realize a manifest object, one doesn't require reasons. For example, if one sees trees or flowers, these are manifest objects, and one doesn't require reasons to realize them. Whereas for the objects which are included amongst the objects which are included in the category of hidden, these can only be realized in dependence on correct reasons. Hence, therefore, to realize these objects, one has to give rise to inferential valor cognizers.
제자다 만족이 신나길이야 매여바디 신나나 매여바디 고교를 원주래라네 원주래래. 그래서 신나나에 매디 또 봐라 김전야다 삼당고고 말아. 제가 신나나 매 땅은 지어로 봐. 그러면 뭐 통고를 무슨 도고래. 제가 김전야다 삼당고 말고 원주래데 가깝 가실래 강사 가실래 고교 차도 그래. 된 다른 거네 다들 신나길래 신기 값이지 나로 매여봐 통투고 말아. 진짜 니 내가서 미델라 매최에 내가서 다른 거는 때에 내가서 미델라 메디 지당 메디 원주래 디레데 아니 미델라 니 내가서 미델라 매최에 내가서 콜로 고교 차려래. 그래서 콜로야 메디 통야래야 아니 니메공 통야래 아니 니메 외기 메디 통 갖고 차고 니메 외기 아니 딘 맞에 신나 값이야 완자 신나 길이 메니 신나도 메기 신나 값지는 메디 통투고 말 그래서 콜라에 메디 꼭줄 차요 그래 그래서 그 매체에 내가 좀 나그 매도에 김전 양다를 진의 삼단에 또마도 김전에 맞도 가지 메디 통투고 말고 되니 인자 그 김전 두어 김전 삼다지 메디 도고 콜로 꼭줄 차요 마도 지단에 메디 꼭줄 말이 신나 메디 꼭줄 말이 그래서 되나 메다한 디담데 의미디 용어숨 도고로 와
Let's look at this division of objects into two, those objects which are manifest and those which are hidden. So let's take an object that we would agree is manifest, and that is fire. If the person in the forest was the person who had lit a fire in the forest, they seeing this fire directly. For them, fire is a manifest object. They're not needing to utilize reasons to realize that this is fire. It's a manifest object for them. They know they don't need to rely on reasons to know that this is fire. However, someone else who is some distance from the fire, whilst the object that we're discussing remains the same fire, and we're agreeing that it's a manifest object, for example, for the person who's lit that fire, a second person who's at some distance, they cannot directly perceive that that is a fire, perhaps because of the cover of the trees or because of the brightness of the sunlight. So the only way that the second person can realize that there is fire is in dependence on a reason. And so if the reason is, for example, that they see smoke arising, then they know, smoke, therefore there's fire. So this second person is using a reason to realize the object, and therefore for that person, that object, fire, is a hidden object. Although, in general, fire is a manifest object, and the person who lit that very same fire, that same fire, for them it is clearly a manifest object. But for a second person who's having to use reasons to realize that there is fire, for them that same object is a hidden object. So in general, that same object is a manifest object, but for an individual, it is a hidden object.
gyöbade hagot gores gyöbade hagorwa dinashe nga jogi sabenchi bene arsor에 아주 내 누구로 통바 있나 아니 네 사본 내 직다와 임바디 하고도 걸어 네 누구 될 때네 어디 사ben 내래 자다 누구 될 때네 하고도 어디 사본디 조레스 디 사본디 안지레 자다 아니 먼저 누구 될 때네 신 될 때네 안디기 사본 규디 디레 사고도 걸어 자다디 베네나 저기 신로 지 구슈 신로 동버께나 자다디 기여도 디 자위기 마타비게 사본에 가래라나 구슈르치 사본 답례스네 동버 될 때네 그 사본 만타야 구슈 임바데 구슈 사본 임바 하고도 디 제보 될 때네 규여바데 규디 냐마 규디 하고도 걸어.
This illustration of fire and smoke. Here one knows that smoke is the result of fire. One knows that fire is the cause of smoke. So what we have is that through seeing a result, one can realize the cause. If one sees barley growing in the field, one knows that the seeds that were planted were those of barley. Someone who's particularly skilled with crops, they will be able to differentiate a different field and say, no, this is wheat. So therefore, through knowing that the result is wheat, the cause must have been the seeds of wheat. Likewise, if a tree bears the fruit of apples, one knows that that is an apple tree. And in this way, through observing the result, one can realize the cause.
다 제바 맞게와라 인지 미주 김제 양다바 삼당 고려 김제 양다바 삼마다와나 김제 양다바지 매바 있나 아니 제바게 두고 말아 되네 현상 아주 김제 양다바 삼다야지 대시 두의 김제 삼다야다 이제 오마기 지마 지 규모티 삼다야다 지소 김제 삼다야래 대디소 아주기 치 최기 값을 끼시고라 다 아주기 나를 삼모나를 끼시베네 미디기 넘규다 계시셰다다 그 계시셰다다 넘규를 때네 미디 코너사와에 된가 하고 두고 와. 제가디 미디 코너사샤스는 간에 하고 그래. 그 셈나로야. 그 코너사와 된가 저 간에 하고 그래라네. 그 계시셰다다 그 넘규 된단기 되네 류기 넘규다. 마하게 치기 네 치기 넘규. 아니 류게 되네래 때네 먼저 그 코너사와 하고 두고 그래. 하고 두고 와. 대자 되니기 류게 류마게 넘규 개발전 라테네 아니 거기라 코르게 여바 또비게 제바츠마 게하요 뭐 제자디 제 코르게샤 하선베 타주비 하고 해야지 그래서네 김센디 류마게 코르게 게인지는 류마게 넘규 개발전 중으로 될라테네 넘기 개발전되고 될라 또비게 된 따라 차고 미디 코르라야 랑요 그래서네 그 류게 넘규다 나게 넘규디 땡기도 와 선에 김전제를 김전될 때네 아니 미디 코로나샤 선등 아주 하고 두고 와
combine what has just been presented and with what was looked at in the previous segment. To realize if objects are divided into manifest and hidden, and to realize hidden objects, one has to have an inferential valid cognizer. To have an inferential valid cognizer, one has to have a correct reason. With independence on the cause of a correct reason, one can give rise to an inferential valid cognition. Without a correct reason, one cannot give rise to an inferential valid cognizer. For example, through seeing smoke, through the correct reason of smoke, one can realize that there is fire. In dependence on the sour smell of milk, one can realize that the milk has gone rotten. So that hopefully is clear in our outer world, but this is also true with our inner world. So independence on seeing a result, independence on the result, we can come to realize the cause. So for example, if we see someone's independence on seeing someone's mood and hearing or their facial expression and hearing the way they're speaking and the words of choice, we can tell that that person may well be angry. In other words, independence on the frown and the red face and the harsh speech, independence on that correct reason, we can know that that person's mind is angry, or they are dominated by anger. So therefore, we use the same process in terms of our coming to know the inner world as well.
ane bachot minile khona sawa da nyomo kya yo bada hago thuya deni ki ta gyumchen dela tene ane ga ti khona sa sha sa o di na shin nga ju lunga ki lugi namgyo da nga ge ne namgyo tani lunga ge tani kyabar chenle tene o bachot ya o midi niji ke sha niji ko me 공부 알았다 ane ko ki la janshu sim ki yo ba o deni ki lunga ge ane ta san kyabar chenle tene ane 파셔디 자주선바 임바다 아니 거기는 인지기요 바데 내게 또 그래 또 두그래지래.
Dependence on someone's facial and verbal expressions, one can tell whether that person is angry. Similarly, relying on similar signs or similar reasons, one can tell that someone is, for example, meditating on love and compassion, or has generated bodhicitta and therefore is perhaps a bodhisattva. The process is the same. Independence on observing the results, one can realize the cause and give rise to an inferential valid cognition in relation to its cause.
제바 세딩 안 주기 람 냠린 제바라 인지 미지 당봉 주기 제바 기고를 빼냅니다. 봐 또야다. 개와 치마 또야. 아니 개와 나마 또야. 근데니게 되네 또야 될 제바 또는 마도 안 개와 치마세. 나 숨이 둥아서 네위 둥아서다. 되네 안주 둥아기 가서 둥르 둥아세 가서래 이다이 둥아서다. 되는 가지고 김센 삼다제 또는 마도 아니 도토에메 둥르기 둥아로 지금 중고수 또야 여러 둥로 하실라 아주 미기 통에 원숨도 도토고래. 다 냐와다 이다세다. 이제 여다메세 당한 주기 김센 삼다제 제바제 김제 야다바 삼다제니 대수 여바 또야다. 대수 둥아 여바 하고 또야다. 김제 야다바 되는 개왕아 마세 요래 요 말에 개와 치마 요래 요 말세데 아주 제바지 김제 삼다 김제 야다바 삼다 와래 되네 안 개왕아 마 또비게 참아기에도 안 제바 참아 되는 개와 치마 또비 참아기도 제바 참아 개와 치마 또비 제바 참아 개왕아 마 또비 제바 참아세 김제 야다바 삼다 제가 저기 개왕아 마 또 두고 오래 개와 치마 또야 용고로 와.
As we heard that in order to attain a path, one has to give rise to inferential valid cognizers. In fact, one will give rise to many inferential valid cognizers. For example, to realize, and as we've heard, to realize hidden objects, one needs to generate inferential valid cognitions, which come about in dependence on correct reasons, which means one needs to engage in reasoning in order to give rise to inferential valid cognitions. For example, to establish past and future lives. This is something that is not a manifest object. Reincarnation is not a manifest object. It's a hidden object. So therefore, one can only come to realize it in dependence on correct reasons. One can only give rise to an inferential valid cognizer realizing past and future lives in dependence on relying on correct reasons. Similarly, in order to, we hear about the presentation of the 6 realms. They're not all manifestly evident to us. They're not all manifest objects for us, but many are hidden objects. Whether the hell realms exist or not, the spirit realms exist or not, we can only give rise to an inferential valid cognition, realizing the sufferings that are being experienced in the realms of the spirits and the hells, independent on relying on reasoning. We cannot, because these objects are hidden. Moreover, to give rise to the mind such as renunciation, these come about in dependence on meditating on sufferings of samsara. So to give rise to the inferential valid cognizer, realizing definite emergence, one has to rely on correct reasons, which are the sufferings of samsara. So therefore, we from this now it should be clear why inferential valid cognisers are so important. Because to give rise to them, we have to give rise to paths within our continuum. We need to engage in analytical meditation and reflection, and to do so, and that is what leads to these inferential valid cognisers.
Yeah, on the negi the dinashingan to Damia Basia, Mita Basia, and Tombani said, and kissing on to Tenji to be Kasheva, she's not Tenji, and Java, Juma, Gumsen, Chichili, thing you do, said Chichilia, Chimjuchin, Chichili Temba, or dinner Juma to Minus Chevache, and do Chevache, Gumsen, change the Tune, Temba, Yudan, Jebuina, usually Ten, Yigu, Yula Matemba, Jebuina, Mendoza, and the Gunjiki Tender some data. And the dinner double said, dinner some daddy, Pacho said, Pari down, Suri said, the Pari, Part dinner, and Suri Chavamado, Pari the men of Suri Chayamindo. Just on Suri Paris said, and Suri Susho Riddle, dinner or Pajo Richavamado, Susho Rid men of Pajo Richayamindo. Just on the names are Chichilla Dugu, said that the names are down to Duba. She's not down on Zuki Michilia, and a chicken. Go and Sinzi said, Mingpa, Lupa, Daba, Le Matana, Sinzin Chamido. Chesako, Dambo, Midi Sinjin Mare. Chesa, the names of Resho, Luji, Resho, Chasa, Jabimima, Jabia, Rayo, and Delia, Lupa, Sinzin said, Lupa, Daba. Chesa, Daba, Latino Cosisi, calling me Sinzin said, Daba, Lupa, Daba, Tiny Java, the name was Sinzin Chabare. Sinzin said, Chesa. Vesho Rawa Dugudo. Vesho Rawa Samaimba and Delia Ming Daba, Lola, Daba Dugu. Chesan, the Nela Daba Dunamato, the name of Duba Mindus and Dus, himself some died, and the Gasam Chilla Chuk and the China, Shenchilla Duna, Daba Samato, Gala Duba, so in Mindua, Sambigi, the Nigro touch of Magic. Jimse some Nazi Liga de Manzuke, Dame Batoya down, and then Tomba Toba said, Yungri said Shigurua, Dineza, Jimse Yada Ballet and Toha Chagor. Did Dambo, Dini, Jimse some Taje, Dambo Haku and Sema did the Chepatsama were there.
Realizations such as impermanence and selflessness, these too come about in dependence on investigation, on analysis, on correct reasons. Hence, when one comes to realize impermanence and selflessness, one gives rise to an inferential valid cognizer. Likewise, with dependent arising, which is something we looked at in quite some detail for many months last year. Dependent arising can be divided in different ways, so dividing it into two, we looked at dependency on causes and conditions and dependency on imputation by mind. So if something is dependent on causes and conditions, it means that if there is a cause, a result will follow. If there is no cause, a result will not follow. So impermanent phenomena come about in dependence on causes. So the resulting phenomenon came about in dependence on causes. Therefore, it cannot be inherently existent from its own side, because it came about in dependence on causes. Similarly, we looked at the other kind of dependency, that of dependency on imputation. It can only be here in dependence on there being there. Similarly, someone who's a prime minister, for example, is only a prime minister in dependence on imputation of the title of prime minister. And for them to be a valid basis for the title prime minister to be imputed, they needed to have, for example, won an election. So these were some illustrations of dependency on imputation. And as these one comes to realize through relying on correct reasons. And it's through relying on these correct reasons that one comes to see in this case that, for example, the prime minister is not inherently existent, but is empty of inherent existence because it's merely imputed by mind. In this way one comes to realize emptiness of inherent existence. So this is why inferential valid cognition is so important. Because to realize the object, one needs to rely on correct reasons, analysis, and then through analyzing based on correct reasons, one will give rise to inferential valid cognitions, such as realizing the emptiness of inherent existence.
Apple sing to your and Delia, Chimichigi, Apple to go Sarwa, Sarah the Namo Shushavana, and Miguel Galorson. On D Chindon again, Apple Chasan Namo Shurda Sachure. Namo Shure, D Apple Chasan Namo Yora Lagorvada. Then Namo Michi Shandachi, and Namo Jimsa Garrelana, Carrel Namo Jimsa Garrel Lagurva, Chisa, Kogalos, need that did go as our instant magic, Namo Shudu. And Dingamo, Shanda Chasangamo, you could be Jimsan Gares, called Jimsan Tigorova. Tinga did the cause of the Shingo Chilikiwa, Honchasan K, Shinzawi Shin Chigres, Chesa, Dingam and Chasangama in Gorilla. Chesa did Jimsan Adama Maresor. Chigamo, Yena Chasangamo in Big Hava Yomares, Delia, and the Nimugu Wedang, Nimayapo, Pomabo, Tone, and the Kashingama Yovada Kashi, Mam Humo, Musiri. Chesa, Kurong, Shindong, 그 김장 가라서는 아무래 내서 된 아무도 내서 된 아무도 그 신지를 깨와래서는 신지를 깨위 김장 전에 산다 사상 아무이 뭐 두고래 네 김장의 김장 야다와 말해서 신지를 깨와 있나양 가시 아무 가시 규모 용식이 돼서 제가 신지를 깨위 김장 전에 아니 그 차상 아무래라는 네 김장 야다와 말해서 진짜 될 때에 차상 아무이 뭐도 또 두고 말해서
As we've been seeing here, and it's clear in the definition that for an inferential valid cognition to arise, has to be directly produced in dependence on a correct reason, that is its basis. We've been looking at this important term here, correct reason. Correct reason is essential for one to give rise to an inferential valid cognizer. But of course not all reasons are correct. If someone picks an apple from a tree, and bites into it, and it's sweet and it's delicious, and pronounces to everyone around, oh, the apples on this tree are fabulous. And the people may say, what is your reason? I say, I've just picked one, and it's tasty, it's sweet. Now that is not a correct reason. Just because one apple on that one tree is ripe, it does not mean that all the apples on that tree are ripe. Some may be unripe, some may be sour. So that is not a correct reason, and not being a correct reason, it cannot give rise to an inferential valid cognizer.
김제 두어 예비 김제 나좀 베네 두어 예미기 따요도 갑라 천하 공로지네 두어 자통 말와 천하 공로 천하 공로지 베니 메마호고지 메디 마호로지 바와 통고로 봐 진짜 메마호 바통 베니 두어 열다사제 가래 김제 가래는 메발기도 와라기로 메도 라기로 와 진짜 메비 김제 진짜 고 두어 열에서 두고로 와 진짜 니기 두고 말았어 메비 김제 진에 두어 열에 삼다디 김제 야다바 말했어 그래서 매연나 유도와 요구 말해서 그래서 매 도와주네 마게 매 마호 바죠 매 연구를 진짜 매연나 도와 요구 매 마호 마호 예반 도와주네 매가 연구를 했어 진짜 매연나 도와 요구 주투 말해서 그래 아디나지레 부여나 아마 요구 주투고 그래 아마 요래 가서 부도 지상 아마디 요래스 다 아마 예비 김전진에 안 부고 요구 주투고 말해 지상 아마도 부고가 두두고 말와 집에는 배주로 지나 배주 뭐지요나 어디 부여도 배주 빼빼 부여를 가서 배주 아마레셔디 전부제샤답네 부여가 두두고 말와 다 배주 빼빼 춘주지요 배나 아마도 마통배네 디니고도 마통배네 배주 빼빼 두 진짜 아마도 요레스 티케가 아마 배주 아마지 요레 텐데 요레스 다디 델메나 지다나 아마 요레스 두두고 그래 대부디 김선전에 유리여바 두두고 그래 유견선전에 대부여바 두두고 말해 디
담았을 때 담았
유유비 김선전에 대부여바 두두고 말해 그래서 배주 빼빼 요래 가서 배주 뭐 아마도와 뭐도와 람나 뭐 유비 김선전에 배주 빼빼 여바 두두고 말해 그래서 배주 빼빼 요래 배주 뭐 요래 와서 김저고 왔는데 디 김선 야다와 말해 저래 배주 아마 요래 가서 배주 빼빼 도와서 람나 김저고 왔는 빼빼 김선지다 아마 여바 두두고 김선 야다와 차게 되지
맞죠? 당 아마 기콜에 대고서 이니디메 대사포코마스
메마호 여바 있는 두아 메바 기네 용거래 두아 기네 메되게 메마고 여딩에 용거래서 진짜 메유비 김선지는 두아 여바 두두고 말했어
네 메카시는 두아 여
메 기네 메게 요래지 메마고 여바라 두아 기네 맞은 바 용거래서 진짜 메유비 김선지는 두아 여러 가서 메 여러 와라나 디 김선 야다바 차게 말해지래
And here, so to understand correct reasons, then what we've heard is that from seeing the result, one can realize the cause. But it doesn't necessarily follow that from seeing or understanding a cause, one will necessarily realize the result. So, for example, if we see smoke, we know there's fire because smoke comes from fire. But for example, if we see a fire at night, we can't necessarily see the smoke because it's dark. And if we say, oh, I'm seeing fire, so therefore there must be smoke. I'm seeing a fire, it's red, it's warm. I'm seeing fire, so there must be smoke because I'm seeing the cause, so therefore the result must be here. That we can't necessarily say because there are fires that don't produce smoke. But there's not the result that doesn't come from a cause. So there's not smoke that doesn't come from fire, but there are fires that don't produce smoke. So similarly, if we see a child, we know that that child has or had a mother. The child would have to have been born from a mother. So therefore, in dependence on seeing the result, a child, we know that the cause, the mother from which the child was born, must have existed. But if we see a woman of childbearing age, one can't say, because she is a woman of childbearing age, therefore she has a child. That one cannot say. Or similarly, if one sees a calf, then one knows that that calf would have had a mother. So from the results, you can realize that there was the cause. But if one sees a cow in the field, whilst it may be of the age where it can give birth to a calf, one cannot say, because that cow is of an age where it can give birth to a calf, it therefore has given birth to a calf. So this works from the result. One can realize the cause, but one cannot necessarily realize the result from seeing just the cause.
네. 아 donala anzu cheba se di gyumjen ya da ba de la tene yu di sardo to pe gi ane de ne ngosu dangbo ge bi gi ane chema de la ya cheba chema a se ji di la gorda donda di gyumjen ya da ba je la tene ge wo re cheba chema se 아 cheba chema se di gyumjen ya da ba tene ngosu yu di sardo to pe gi de la ne chema chema la gore che ngosu de chime chenyi ko ngosu ge wala do ja 김제 야다 바질라 때네 유디 또봉 또 ngosu 또 비게 살도 밀리리 바텔라 네 직제 바참ala 거래시로
as we're seeing here today,
김제 야다 바질라 티게 와지고 그랬다 단달라.
So we've been looking now at the meaning of a correct reason, for a reason that is correct, which is the basis of an inferential valid cognizer, but an inferential valid cognizer doesn't only have the characteristic of being produced in dependence on a correct reason that is its basis, it must also be directly produced, and it must be new, incontrovertible, and a determinative knower.
ngodobi jeba seada yang jabe jeba ichi jeba se desal ma so ne jeba pa yewal ma che yode ne sumshi gore.
And next on page 8 we see the divisions of inferential valid cognizers, those which are by the power of the fact, through renown and through belief.
다들 ngodogi jeba seada dondala 니나는 뒤로 ngodogi jeba seada 이치기 jeba 니나는 뒤로 잡에 jeba 대 ngodogi jeba 나래 이내 홀로서 셰바래 셰비게 대한 고바로 쉬어래
고바랍나
고바는 셰고야기야 고바 don다 쉬어래
The inferential valid cognizers can be divided into 3 or 2, so we have here the threefold division. The twofold division would just be what we have as the first and the third. If one was to divide it into 2, you'd have inferential cognizers by the power of the facts and inferential cognizers through belief. And the reason that one can divide it into 2 is that inferential cognizers through renown can be, or are, inferential cognizers through renown are included within inferential cognizers by the power of the fact. So if we are to divide inferential cognition into 2, it would be the first and the third. But there is a reason for separating the first 2 into 2 and therefore having this threefold division that we have.
제비 제다기 점에다 도기 제바 제바 참아서 제바서야 돼. 모두기 제바를 해서래. 제비 제바 줌센의 전에 제벤다바레스 도비기 제바 지어로와 내가 모두기 제바라게 해지래. sensi로지들이다.
And immediately underneath we have 3 illustrations which correspond to the threefold division. The first illustration, that being of an inferential cognizer by the power of the fact, is an inferential cognizer that realizes that sound is impermanent through the reason of being a product. So here we have as a correct reason that sound is a product, it's produced.
And 제비 따기 됩니다. 그래서 가서는 자 세대 미다바레에서 미다바라는 거 기지기지기지 유어도들와 기지기지 민네바 유어도되게 될 미다바 기지기지 유어도 아니 미다바서 제가 자 세대 기지기지 유어도네 유어도고 미다바세들이 그 딱봐 말해스 그 윤에 유어면 유어도에 매된 지야매 되긴 딱봐도 말해스 자디 기지기지 봐 유어도 지루고 그래서 힘비 김자 가서 미다바면 김자 가서 자디 제발에 와서도 제발에 균에 때문에 깨와서 제바스는 깨바로 와서 우리 규칙을 때문에 깨바로 와서 세상 규칙을 때문에 깨 진짜라 코키지기지 유어도고마도 유어마도요 말했지 세상 자디 기지기지 유어도고래 딱바 때문에 되게 말해 기지 유어도고래서지 네 김자라 가고 도비 김자 가서는 제발에서는 깨바로 규칙을 때문에 깨바로 와서 우리 세상 규칙을 때문에 깨바 인장 아니 네 김선의 제제 자디 기지기지 규어줘봐 답아만 봐도 하고 해야 되라 또배 제바들라 다음에 담에다가 또배 제바라 그래 제자디 제바세 말이야 제자디 김선디 가를 띵 것은 제바 저 제바레스 제바레스 제바도 김장야도 제제네 점에다가 또 거래.
All existence, all phenomena can be divided into those which are permanent and those which are impermanent. And something that is impermanent is something that momentarily changes. And the meaning of something that is permanent is that it does not momentarily change, it's unchanging. So here, when we see here that sound is impermanent, what is being stated is that sound is impermanent or sound changes momentarily. And the reason to establish that sound changes momentarily is that it comes about in dependence on it is produced. It's produced, so it's produced, and therefore it changes momentarily. So the reason for it changing momentarily or being impermanent is that it is produced.
단단한 저기 제바시에 김제 가르치고 그러세요. 지상 아주 근데 개와치만 가서 안쪽에 동화 되어버려 대화 미디어 대화 되어버려 동화 미디어 버려스 지상 동화 미디어 버인장 동화에 매봐서 고고리스 지상 디니 동화 매봐서 발라 동화에 간다서 용고고래 용고래서 아주 신고고래스 지상 동화 용타의 신고고래스 동화 계산의 신바이나 동화 매봐서 타의 신기리스 지상 나 대화디 간다서 고고가서 대화 고고래 대화 고바인장 대화 영역이 유리하고 그래서 유리하고 바는 아주 유리줍 대화 줍투 그래서 진짜 되는 상황에서 대화 동안세야 동안세야 간스 룽고라서 동안이 유다 되는게 용타데 세부하고 그래서 되기 고원산 되기 줍다데 하고 그래서 진짜 디하고 해야지 맞아 다가서 상 김쟁 가야 마상제 맞아 와시 원숨기 람상 원숨기 미게 따와다 암조고하다 아니 룰레라와 삼기 동화 간승고 베데 하고도 말 동화 규대 하고도 말에 동화 규세다데 하고도 말에 안 대위 규가래 임마다 하고도 말에 대화 줍다 하고도 말에 지상 안줄에 제수 꼭규래서 그렇다 대화 대위 동화 영향이 규당 아니 대위 규디게 간나간의 연구 명안줄 꼭규 차려야 그래서 지상 먼저 원숨이 또 두고 말했어 지상 안서 원숨이 또 봐인자 당 안주 가르쳐서는 제바세 등한 저 기고 그래. 따라되는 김제야다 삼단에 디토베 제바 쳔바등한 저 기고 그래. 제가 디토베 제바 쳔바께 발라 동아이 용타다. 동아이 규디제 간데 용부 하고 와라. 제바 쳔의 기고서 제바디 김제야다 김제 삼다지. 김제야다 바지 삼다지 또 얼마도 김제마다 봐또 두 말했어. 되니 인장 동아 간에 또 발라 동아 또 베게 제바께 발라 동화 영타기 김제 먹고 삼다고 해지. 그래서 동화야도 김제 먹고. 그래서 김제도 제바제 김제 먹고 삼다야도 동화들 다 쳐용을 동화 또 제바츠마 끼용 그래서. 그래서 동화규 신공 그래서. 그래서 동화 빵타디 하고 매봐서도 하고 두고 그래서 그러다 디시고 그러다.
Just to remind ourselves of why we're looking at inferential valid cognizers, why this is such a particularly important section, is all of us, we have this inner yearning for happiness, this desire to be free of any problem or difficulty. None of us welcome any kind of difficulty. We all desire peace of mind, mental space, a life freed of problems. But this desired result of happiness, this undesired result of suffering, these are hidden objects. They are not manifest objects, which means we cannot come to realize them through relying on direct perception. For example, things that a sense-direct perceiver that sees an object, that's a sense-direct perceiver that sees that particular object, a table or whatever. But that cannot come to realize freedom from suffering. These are hidden objects, and hidden objects require an inferential cognition. In order to realize freedom from suffering, lasting and stable happiness, one needs to come to understand what suffering is, What are the causes that lead to this result that is suffering? And what are the methods to avoid accumulating these causes? Moreover, we need to understand what is meant by happiness. What are the causes that lead to the arisal of happiness, and what are the methods to achieve these causes? So immediately from this description, you can hear that there will be reasoning involved. Independence then on reflecting on correct reasons, one will give rise to realizations, inferential realizations of the causes of happiness, the causes of suffering, as well as then the method to eliminate suffering, the methods to achieve happiness. This cannot be done initially through direct perception. It requires, because these objects are hidden, it requires inferential valid cognition. So therefore, in order to fulfill this deep-felt yearning for happiness and freedom from suffering, one has to rely on analytical meditation, rely on cultivation of correct reasons in order to give rise to these realizations, to inferential valid cognitions.
저기 모습게 남상한 저기 모습게 깨와 치마여 하고 두고 말에 깨와 남아여 하고 두고 말에 대상한 줄 꼭교 차대요. 꼭교 인자 안저 깨와 남아 또야 다 깨와 치마지 마도 바이나 아니 가 줄에 깨와 치마 되니게 삼바디 슉치버지 잘리 두고 말아. 대상 깨와 치마 하고 바이나 또 바이나 내가 깨와 치마 되니게 삼바디 아니 슉치리고 봐. 얘네자 깨와 치마세다 깨와 남아세야디 고규인자 먼저 제바치네 제바치면 또 고르마도 오숨치면 또 두고 말해. 다 제바치면 또 와자 개왕아마디 양한주기 제바치면 또 와라 개왕아마디게 간스 개왕아마스 간스 요르치 그 심주지 제바치야 차고라 제바치. 나 제바치랑 제바치야라. 세상은 제바친 또 고래. 나 제바치도 그병아도 간데 제고래 남나 땅아주기 라과로 삼다외나 다당아주기 에디 nga 세야데 두 산가왈리게 레스네 아미 개와레스 지사 아미 개도 nga 아미 도나라도 춘치지 마도요 말세 데냐제 다 아미 도나라 당본에 첨부요 말데 주주주주주 데냐 야야야 귤제도 아니 아미기 류나리아다 당본 마키로 주도 강바 라바 차상 디니엘야 강바 라바 기네 디니엘야 샤도도시 디니엘야 아니 그 쇼나신 유 어두스 야야야 되네 아니 아밍알 당보 차도 갑라 안 당보 차바래 다 당보 차와서 니니엘 가와요레스다 그 유지메나 유직리 되는 용으로 유메나 야 규민도 제가 아밍알 당보 차기 당보 차도 니니엘 가와다 디 유지요레스 제가 니니엘 직된데 요다 디 유레티네 깨와 딩아마 요바디다 깨옹아마디 두스에 제바지 로고로와데 제가 니네 두스에 제바지 니니기 아밍아 당보 차바 타비기 차바 타바디 델야 규지여 두 김자선 델야 규텐데 지여야 선비게 삼단에 제바지여도 아니 그 딩아마디다 응아마디 깨왕아마리에스 진 두시에 도고야 차고로와
The subject of reincarnation, past and future lives. This is something that for us is not a manifest object, but it's a hidden object. We can't directly perceive it. So being a hidden object, it's something that one needs to come to realize. We may have an understanding or an acceptance of reincarnation, but without a realization, without giving rise to an inferential valid cognizer, realizing past and future lives, one will not strive wholeheartedly for our future lives. So in order to give rise to the strong determination to ensure that we only accumulate virtuous causes that will lead to good rebirths, one has to give rise to an inferential valid cognition, realizing past and future lives. In order to give rise to an inferential valid cognition requires analysis, investigation, reliance on sound reasons. So if we're wanting to establish then the validity of past and future lives, to think about it then in a very coarse and easy way to understand. So we're here now, we can think about how we've grown throughout this life. We were born at one point. We were born from our mothers. And in our presence in the womb, this too had many stages of development. And we went from a fully developed fetus about to enter into this world through various stages back to through various stages. And when we were at the simplest, the earliest of stages, where did that come from? And especially when you think then of the consciousness, where did consciousness come from? There, it can only have come from a past life. So this is a very brief presentation, but it's through using reasoning like this that one can come to an understanding and eventually a realization establishing past lives.
Denigi do chebachi na do gimjan sam tangi chebachi no di gimjan delatine kiudo dene kiudo chisan dene chimena gyuchimena dike amindu sembirwada ame togonalya ane chige puchunchu mena tanga makiyayo mar singa chayo mar delatine kiuso do gimjan samda chedo dene mengal tangbo chabi gimjan dia di gyuchile dene yongmado di mena gyuchimena di yongmar jesan di gyuchile dene di gyudida tenden ngamachi yore smbe tachibe gimsen delatene tachiba samnatiendo da denigi gimsen delatene tachibe samnodi mandu jebasama chegurwa jesan di gewa ngamage 하고게 제바츠마로 책으로와 지난 니네 인자 저기 개왕아마디 두스는 삼다베네 땡아마디 하고서는 치마디레라 하고 근데 그래서 나마디 제마자 나마디 맹아 마차비 녀려야 현다 지여바디 나마차자 니기 치마데 맹아 차송바디 개 니기 치마차송로 그래서 니기 개와 치마차데 진짜 내가 치마차는 땅안 저 시도대야 니나시 얼마 예지 차를 지 개와지 렌도도 개와치 마세야데 도야래 레라용거와 데는자 데네기 김전진의 삼단은 개왕아마다 치마 토픽이 제바세마 기고레스.
Dependence on using analysis such as that, going back through the sequence of results that came from a preceding cause. We then go through this life, we go through this life that we're currently experiencing, we're going through what we can't recall of entering into the womb, and each stage of development came about, each stage of development is a result that came about in dependence on this previous stage, which is its cause. And so reflecting like this, seeing each result, we know it came from a cause. And like this, we can give rise to an inferential valid cognizer establishing a past life. And once established a past life, then it's very easy to establish a future life because all of us are sitting here now in the future of our past life. So once we've established the past life, well, we're now in the future of that life, so therefore there's future lives.
안도스진의 삼다 책으로 대자 제사 제바세 쇼고바 김제가라나 만주기 모습이 또 마트 유디 제바세의 체면 또 그래 제바 체마디 깨발라 김제 양다 가지고 그래서 제사 김제 양다 가지고 삼다 김제대 삼다지 김제지를 된또 호도아 되네 또 봐서 당한주기 조마저 가래라나 개왕아마다 치마도야다 탈바다 탐지킴도 또야다 아니 대수도야 돼가지고 개체 책으로 봐되네 되네 또 봐라 되네 제바체마 되네 제바체 야내야도 김제 야내야도 삼다 또 그래서 돈달라 저기 제바체야다 김제 야고 망보 삼당 그래서 그러다.
So hopefully it's clear why inferential valid cognizers are so very important. Because for us to realize the vast array of hidden objects, we can only do so in dependence on correct reasons. And not just the mere presentation of a correct reason, but reflecting on those, analyzing them, and doing so repeatedly over a sustained period. And through doing that, we will then give rise to a realization of that object, will give rise to an inferential valid cognition of a reincarnation, of impermanence, of selflessness, and so forth. And in this way, we give rise to mental paths. In this way, through relying on reflection based on correct reasons, we'll give rise to inferential valid cognitions. and progress towards liberation and omniscience. So this hopefully establishes it very clearly, the importance to rely on correct reasons and rely on them through analyzing them, meditating on them, reflecting on them repeatedly until, in order to give rise to inferential valid cognizers. Then we'll conclude here for this evening, and we'll continue tomorrow with the second and third divisions, those of inferential cognizers through renown and those through belief. Thank you. But if you have questions, then please do ask. Okay, then we'll finish here. Thank you.